So that's what I'm saying, Sam, is that everybody is now getting into the act. Everybody's chirping. Before, we were like the annoying little kid that perhaps probably shouldn't be running their mouths the way that they should. But as a first place team, now we have a little bit more to talk about. It's one of those things. It's so funny to me because, for so long, the putback or the clapback has always been like, oh, you guys, no, you're bottom of the division. You're third in the division. Okay, you're leading the division. You haven't been to the playoffs. It's like, whatever. Here's the thing. Here's the only thing that I know right now. The Chicago Bears are in first place in the NFC North. And I will say this to anybody, whether you're a fan of the Broncos or whomever. If your team is in first place, you do not need to apologize for anything. You do not need to apologize for the standings, the schedule, how you're winning, how close you're winning. Victories in the NFL are so difficult to come by. You do not need to apologize for anything that is going on. You should just go out and enjoy it because these opportunities don't always come along. Unless you're a fan of the Patriots, then stop it. You've had too long of a run. No, I'm just joking. No, listen. The Patriot, you went through it for a couple of years. You had to wear the last number of years of the Bill Belichick era, watching Tom Brady win for Tampa Bay. You can enjoy it too, Patriots fans. Everybody can enjoy it. That's the thing. You should enjoy these things. Everybody is so quick to come out and discredit any team that is winning. You cannot just go out there and let people enjoy their lives. You can't, it's just one of those things, it's like people who don't like Star Wars. Can't wait to tell you they don't like Star Wars. I don't care whether you like it or not. I don't care if you think the Bears are for real or not. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy this. Sammy, start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Rank.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank. And just want to let everybody know that this edition of the Sick Podcast is brought to you by Windy City Sports Cards, where we specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you're a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, or Blackhawks, we've got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. And in addition to our Chicago focus items, we cover the entire gamut of sports at Windy City Sports Cards. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us here today. The Bears are 7-3, and here to talk about it is our co-host for the afternoon from Just Another Year Chicago, our friend Nick Roie. Nick, how you living?
I am living the dream, Adam. I got Packers fans chirping at me while I'm on my rooftop after the game, trying to enjoy it. I'm jawing back and forth with them. Sports are back in Chicago, man. The Bulls, they're about 500. They don't look bad. The Hawks are good. And the Bears at 7-3, man, I'm on top of the world right now.
Do you find yourself having to apologize to people for being 7-3? Because I don't think I know that Denver's going through this as well. But it feels like it's such a weird thing to try to have to apologize. Like, sorry, my team's finding ways to win games. I don't know what they want us to do.
No, Ben Johnson said it best. Never apologize for winning in this league. And, people are just jealous that the Bears went from worst to first. And, rebuilds usually take a minute. But I'm not apologizing for Ryan Poles trusting the process and it taking 3 years to finally put a team together, not only good on the field, but good financially moving forward, young, good head coach. I'm not sorry for anything. And Greg Bragg said it best, is that this team hasn't even gotten super good yet. They're still making mistakes. They're still going through it. And I'm going, wow, this is a great feeling because, if this Bears team would have been playing like they did, like right now, against Minnesota on Monday Night Football, the first week one, Bears could be easily 8-2 right now, maybe even 9-1 in other plays. I don't know, but man, it's just a lot of fun to enjoy right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think it illustrates how great not great, but like how much better the Chicago Bears have been playing over the last 10 weeks because they played very similar games. Ben Johnson pointed it out in his post-game remarks. Is like, this is very similar to the game that the Bears opened up the season with, where they had a seemingly comfortable lead. They let J.J. McCarthy come back and work his magic. And then ultimately in week 1, the Bears find a way to lose that one, don't get it. But here on the road in a somewhat hostile environment, the Bears found a way to get it done. So I think this shows that there's a lot of growth, a lot more character, and a team that's believing to win. Because when the Vikings scored with 50 seconds left, I don't know about you, I didn't sweat for a moment. I'm like, that's way too much time. Like, we just need a field goal. Like, we're getting that. Was there ever a doubt in your mind, even before the kickoff, that the Bears were going to come and find a way to win that game?
I was slightly opposite of you. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh my God, they've done it so many times this year. When is the domino finally going to fall? Like, when are we not going to have one of these? And then they did it. And then I'm like, oh, well, that's great. Like, keep it going. You know, now that mindset, maybe I'll have moving forward, which I want to have. But I was like, man, they've done this 4 times already this year. And they've only played in 9 games up to that point. So almost half of them. Now half of their games have been on game-winning drives. The intensity's there, and it's good to see that this team is able to do it. But no, I was like, oh my God, is this the one where finally we get heartbroken again? But we haven't, and that's all that matters.
You know, it's one of those things that we used to always joke about this, and I said this immediately after the game, is, you know, and you see this a lot on Twitter, where, you know, like, if a team scores, like if somebody's playing the Browns, and they're like, "Dop, you left too much time for Shedeur Sanders. Oh, you left too much time for a Geno Smith." Like, it's always a joke. It's always like a punchline to do that. However, the Bears have sincerely become that team that it's like, yeah, you probably left a little bit too much time, especially this season. We saw it from the Vikings a couple of years ago. And I will even say this too, for every Vikings fan who's out there morose, because I had even tweeted out, I said, listen, we're turning J.J. McCarthy into a hero. And people are like, take it back. I'm like, J.J. McCarthy still did the thing. Like, it wasn't him. He doesn't play special teams. He doesn't play defense. Like, he did. Like, I'm impressed. I don't want to go too deep into this, but like, J.J. McCarthy impressed me the 2 games that we played him. And I'm not going to take that away from him. But this Bears team just keeps finding a way to win. And you know what's funny, Nick? You know what I've noticed? I don't know what you do after the Bears play, but I still have obligations to watch the rest of the NFL. So I was watching the Chiefs and the Broncos, and I've got a little bit of a rooting interest in the Broncos. The Chiefs had an opportunity to rally to win that game, and they didn't. And I'm like, have we made a switch? Has it been some sort of Freaky Friday? Like, now the Chiefs are kind of bottlers, and it's the Bears that look like the most clutch team in the NFL.
Has Ryan Poles finally figured out how to get the Chiefs magic to Chicago? It only took a couple of years. What did he have to do? What Al's beef Lou Malnati's combination did he have to put together in order to make this happen? No, it's very fair point. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the games after because I did the live show after, and then of course, you know, every Sunday after the Bears win, I get Lou Malnati's. Shout out to Lou's for that one. And I didn't get a chance to watch that one. I was just locked in on that Lions-Eagles game, waiting for the alliance to continue, which it did, and that's why we sit at the top. But yeah, no, it's exciting now that there's been a shift, and I think the entire NFL is feeling it, and that's why people are starting to freak out. They're like, the Bears can't be good. We hate on them all the time. They can't be good. Well, I'm not saying we're fully back, but we're almost back at them.
No, and I know that I go out after every Bears victory and I ask if we're the greatest team, if we're the best team in football, which is sort of like, I don't know. I do like the interactions. I do like getting people, get their blood boiling a little bit. It's a little rage baiting on my part. Cause like, it's clearly, if you know me, there's a lot of me being facetious. I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm just sitting here enjoying it in the moment. I don't want to get too far. Hey, listen, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself and start booking trip. Like I barely have the stomach to book a trip to Santa Clara at the end of December, much less a trip to the Super Bowl. I'm a superstitious sort, and I've always been that way. Also in things like fantasy football. And speaking of fantasy football, Crown Champs has dropped the hottest thing that fantasy football has ever seen: a real handcrafted premium championship crown. It's just $2.99 a month per person. Rack up points, win weekly challenges, get voted as King, Queen, Trash Talker, and unlock real-life merch at crownchampscompany.com. That's crownchampscompany.com. Don't just win your fantasy football league. Go out and rule it. And a special shout out to our friends at Huel. And I'll try to make sure that we get the full logo in right here. Listen, this is the best meal replacement supplement I have ever had. And right now you can try Huel with 15% off for new customers today using the code SICKBEARS at Huel.com/SickBears. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. And if you're on the road, on the run like I am, Huel is an absolute lifesaver. And if you don't want to make your own shake, you can just go out and get one of these. 400 calories, 35 grams of protein. Let's talk about this Bears game a little bit more before we look ahead. Caleb Williams didn't have his best performance statistically. How did you feel about him overall? It feels like, and this is something that Chris Long was talking about, he's like, you know what's funny? He's playing so well, nobody's talking about his fingernails anymore. But ultimately, how do you feel about the way Caleb's been playing?
It's a good way to put it. I really haven't thought about his fingernails, except when people are like, your quarterback is painted fingernails. I'm like, is he winning ball games? Yes. Like, move on. Next subject. Nice try. No, I mean, 21 pass. I think it's 2,200 passing yards now. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he hasn't had an interception in a couple of games. He only has 4 interceptions on the season. In 19 of his 27 career starts, he doesn't have an interception. So I think that just the hate is there. And I think he's playing some darn good football. And as long as he's winning ball games, and Adam, maybe you saw this after the game, but he was frustrated with himself even after hitting a game winner from Cairo Santos. He was frustrated because he's like, I could have played better. You saw emotion from him on the sideline. He just looked like he now wants it. He has that edge, like, I can be a better football player here. I can get the job done. And no turnovers is everything that we want as fans. Any team does not want their quarterback to turn the ball over. J.J. McCarthy did it twice against the Chicago Bears. Caleb did it 0 times against a Brian Flores defense that blitzed him over 75% of the time. So that's really impressive. So it might not look like it on the stat sheet, but overall, Caleb Williams is just playing some really good football right now, and he's growing. And today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Caleb, and shout out Joe Tooney for their birthday too. He's only 24 years old. So there's so much there that they're going to continue to work on, and he's going to continue to grow. But I think he's been playing some darn good football, and I think he played a lot better this past week against Minnesota versus he did week 1 in Chicago.
You should not take road victories lightly, especially when you're playing against a defense that's orchestrated by Brian Flores, and it's one of the most impressive things about him. And yeah, as you said, he's 24 years old as of today. He can't even rent a car, and yet he is still here running the operation for the Chicago Bears. So I can't help but be impressed. And I think that there's going to be games like this where it's not going to be perfect, but you still feel, and again, it was one of those things about Caleb where it's like, even though he wasn't playing well, you're like, he's going to find a way to get it done. Now, obviously, Duvernay had a lot to say about that. Cairo Santos had a lot to say about that. And I thought the best part is Caleb Williams insisted that Cairo join him in the Fox postgame show. What does that say about his character that he wanted to make sure that Cairo was included in that celebration?
I think everyone that ever thought this guy was selfish got quiet real quick. Leadership, maturity, showing that players are bought into this Ben Johnson culture. It was awesome. And Caleb was adamant. He's like, I don't care about your interview. This is my teammate. We just won the game. There's more about this entire thing than just me giving you some answers. And I don't even remember the last time that happened. Maybe when Jay Cutler had Matt Forte sit with him during the turkey leg in Thanksgiving in Detroit years ago. I mean, when was the last time you saw the quarterback, the leader of this team, and again, only being 24 years old, do something like that? So it spoke volume to me that Caleb is truly bought in, wants to be better, wants to be a leader, and I'm pumped up for him. It's a great thing to see so far, and Bears fans should be stoked about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where it's starting, or not starting, but it truly mirrors the reaction of his head coach. And I know that Brendan Shagrew went out there and made this video that was hilarious, where it's not quite the full-on Imperial March, but it showed Ben Johnson walking into the locker room after a victory. Like, I remember last year, I was in the tunnel after the Bears lost to Arizona. Ooh. And I don't want to say which offensive coordinator it was. Oops, maybe I said too much. But I saw, like, I'm standing there in, who cares? Shane Waldron is dapping up Omar Ruiz, my colleague. And like not like it was all good. Like everything was fine. And I looked at Omar. I'm like, what the hell was that? He's like, what? I'm like, why was he even happy? I know this is a private time. Like you should, like he shouldn't have to worry about appearances, but he should be pissed. Like he should be like really down. Like he should not be excited or happy to see his friend. Like, and I wouldn't have even called. Like even if I like, I've been in the locker rooms before when after a Bears loss and like see a player or two who are like a little like you're too casual right now. Like lock it in a little bit. Ben Johnson has no problem locking it in. How do you feel? I know you saw Shagrew's post. What did you think about that? I kind of love that Ben Johnson is so angry, just so red-faced all the time.
It's just amazing how he can turn it on and off, right? Like at one moment, he's like the nicest guy at the podium. He's like, yeah, no, the guys did a really good job. Like we got to work on these things. And then like you see him on the field, you're like, oh my God, is this guy going to like run through a wall right now? Or is his eyes going to have laser beams shoot out of them and like cook my brain? I mean, I loved it though. Like that's the mentality, the toughness, the Chicago toughness that we've been looking for. And, you know, kind of that Kobe Bryant job's not finished mentality. Like, yeah, we're 7-3. We weren't at the top of the North at that moment after. I mean, or we were technically, but it wasn't a for sure thing solely because we still had to wait for Detroit to play. But Ben Johnson's like, he's got that job's not finished mentality. And that's what I love about him so much is he's not going to be satisfied till a Lombardi trophy is being added to Hallis Hall or is in his hand. That's for the Bears. So it was awesome. Great intensity. And then you can see in the locker room after everyone's bought in how pumped up he is. So it's a great thing to see, and we should be pumped as Bears fans.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you see the picture and the look that he gives Caleb Williams after the game, and they're kind of like, it's a knowing glance, but it's also like, I'm a proud of you type of glance at Caleb Williams. And I think the best part of it is like when you look at that game, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams both could be like, yeah, that was on us. Like the fact that we're in that position is a little bit on us. And I'm not saying that they played bad. And I'm not going to be one of these guys who just, I don't know. I hear it too much from too many Bears people, too many Bears bloggers or whatever. And they all come out and like, God, what kind of game is he calling? They'll point to like the Travis Homer call and stuff like that. And like, you know, like, yeah, sometimes plays don't work. Like it's one of those things. Everybody gets way too hypercritical with all these little micro mistakes. Like this wasn't it. Listen, I'm sure that when Ben, and he says this all the time, he's like, I can't wait to go watch the tape. He'll watch back and be like, that wasn't my best effort. I could have probably called something else there. Although at the same time, speaking of calling something else, the referees could have called a face mask. But I almost in that moment, I was like, you know what? Ben Johnson doesn't deserve to be rewarded right there. Like that was a terrible, like regardless of what, that was such a terrible call. Both as a play call and a non-call by the referee. But I think like the relationship between these two, and I can't help but think of guys like whoever, national media, who are like, this marriage between Caleb and Ben Johnson will never work. But it really feels like Caleb is now like just taking parts of Ben Johnson's personality and making it his own.
When he was talking about after the game, he's like, when there's blood in the water. And I heard that. I was like, whoa, that's something that Ben Johnson would say. That's something that Dan Campbell would say, like biting off a kneecap or something. I was like, yes, you're getting it now. Like this is what you need to do to grow as an individual, to intimidate the other team. And there's no denial that Caleb's confidence is through the roof right now because he was so frustrated with himself. Like earlier in the season, he's like, oh, 200 yards passing. That was great. Now he's like, F that. I want to throw more. I want to win the game. I don't want it to be a game-winning drive. I want control in this situation. And I'm just like, hell yeah, brother. Like, that's exactly what we all want you to do. So at the end of the day, I think that Caleb Williams is really growing as an individual. That's what we want him to continuously do. But he is starting to turn into like a mini monster of Ben Johnson. And I'm wondering when Ben Johnson's going to go, okay, you're done. You can't be any more like me. Like you can't become evil and too powerful. I can't create too much of a monster. That said, if he creates a balanced monster, I'm all for it.
No, and I think we're starting to see that with Caleb. I was talking to a friend of mine who is one of the managing editors at NFL.com, Ali Bonpuri, who him and I wrote a column this year doing a predictions piece for NFL.com. And he's like, I wish he would stop floating a pass here or there or whatever. I'm like, like quarterbacks do make mistakes. Like, believe it or not, like if you watch the national media, you would be shocked to find out that, you know what? Drake May has thrown an incomplete pass this season. I know you never hear about it. Nobody else, it doesn't get talked about with anybody else, but it does happen. So it doesn't always need to be perfect with him. Just go out there and find a way. I do want to talk about what's coming up here with Aaron Rodgers. We got a little bit of news on that, but want to remind everybody that if you're not going to the game this weekend, the best place to watch games is Twisted Shamrock. If you're a real Chicago sports fan, and I'm talking about Bears, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, Sox, you need to be watching the games at Twisted Shamrock. They've got monster TVs in the private party room, main bar, and outside on their stellar patio. Swing by Twisted Shamrock, where Chicago sports come together. And as a reminder, I will be there on December 13th. The moment my plane touches down at Midway Airport, I'm going to have a carry-on, and I'm heading directly to Twisted Shamrock for a meet and greet. We'll do a little mini podcast. We'll have some drinks. We'll try their old fashioned, or you'll try their old fashioned. I've had one. It's amazing. You're going to love it. And so we'll be there on December 13th. Please come out. Make your plans now. That's roughly going to be around 5 o'clock Central, if I'm doing the math correctly, and I would like to believe that I did. All right, news today, Aaron Rodgers will not have surgery on his left wrist. He is pushing to play this week against the Chicago Bears. The final decision is likely to be made on Friday when the weekend injury designations come out. Where do you land on this? Where do you want Aaron Rodgers to play? Do you want to put him to rest? Or where you're like, bro, I just want to win. Give us Mason Rudolph.
I want a little bit combo of the both. I want Rodgers to play, and I want a Bears win to close the Aaron Rodgers Chicago Bears chapter. It'd be way sweeter if it was in a Packers uniform, getting the win. But it's got to end on a win. The guy owns us all time. No denial. Like we have to say it. Like the guy has tortured Bears fans for the last 2 decades. And I would love nothing more for him to play against us and Ben Johnson continuously change the script of this Bears franchise. Good offensive line. Wow, that's new. Quarterback playing well. That's new. Bears winning in winning heartbreaking games for the opposing team. That's new. I want Ben Johnson to continue to do that. And I think just adding to his legacy would be taking down Aaron Rodgers in his what could be last appearance at Soldier Field in winning fashion to go to 8-3 and 8 of the last 9 and truly be in playoff contention talk. So I do want Rodgers to play. I do respect his career though. And obviously Pittsburgh is trying to do the same thing right now. Their division is kind of like ours. Everyone's kind of competing for it. Yeah. So there's probably a good chance he won't play, but if he can play through, I would love to see it.
Respect the player, obviously respect the talent. I would hope if I got to book this, if this was WWE and I got to book it, Caleb Williams throws 6 touchdowns and then does the discount double check right to the bench of where Aaron Rodgers is standing in street clothes saying, this is now my domain. Ownership has been transferred. I was talking about this with Braggs the other night, and I do feel like some of the gusto of like, hey, you know, we want to end this. You know, I still feel this way. I still want to be. I want to be. Listen, regardless of what happens this season, I'm not saying it's all for naught if we don't beat Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, like, as you pointed out, like, we need to check off a bunch of these boxes. I think that we need to beat Detroit. I think we need to beat Aaron Rodgers. And I think if you just said over the remaining part of the season, I would like one more win at Green Bay. I would like to never lose in Green Bay. So if I'm ranking those in order of priority, the Green Bay one is actually the greatest. Green Bay, we need to win at Lambeau. We need to beat Rodgers and then beat the Lions. If I'm ranking those in order.
So are you saying you're okay losing at home to Green Bay?
I'm not.
No,
I don't want that either, but I'm just saying.
If you had the choice.
I don't know. I want a bunch of things. You know what? I want it all. I don't care. Like, let's go. Let's go 14-3.
Why not?
And even if they're like, you're the softest number one seed ever, I'll be like, I don't care. It didn't affect that. I mean, like, that was the Lions. It would be hard to top the Lions 14-3 debacle from last year. So why not just go for it?
I just love, like, the fact that it's all keyboard warriors that, like, put them out on an NFL field and be like, see what you can do. Like, and how fast the game is. And if you look at things too from this year, there's so many injuries around the league. There's so many coaching changes. There's just a new speed of the game. We knew who was going to be bad walking into this season, but when I walked in looking at this, I was like, there are so many teams that could do something, or this could be the year they fall apart. We're seeing that with the Chiefs. They're not falling apart, but they're not the dominance that they used to be. And the Bears were like, they could do something. And I believe someone on Twitter is like undefeated right now with their prediction of the Bears games. And they're saying 12-5. And I'm like, keep it riding. I love this. But
was it M? I think it's M. I think she's the one, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
I think it's her. But in any event, listen, thank you so much. I got to run. I got to go out and do a bunch of stuff. It's a crazy time of year around here. Actually, I got a late start today. This was my fault. Then my internet sucked. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of you probably don't care about. But we do care about you guys being here. So thank you so much. Be sure to check out Nick and his channel, Just Another Year Chicago. They're streaming during the games. So for those of you who want a second screen experience, go check out Just Another Year Chicago. Follow them on all the social medias. Make sure it's that J logo. Don't fall for any of the imposters. But Jay, any last words of wisdom before we get out of here?
Bear down. Can't wait for Sunday, and just don't apologize for winning in this league.
All right. For Nick, I'm Adam. Bear down. And Sammy, go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.